Hello. Welcome to the MiniMapCast. What's up? My name is Jeremy, and joining me as always is Kerry Palmer.
Sup?
Welcome to the MiniMapCast. It is a podcast about video games. The MiniMapCast.
How frequently? Don't ask.
Yeah, don't ask. It's a podcast. You know, it'll be there when you want it. The MiniMapCast is the premier podcast of minimap.com.au, an Australian independent game site. If you like what you're hearing, make sure to tell your friends and give the show a positive rating wherever you listen to your podcast. It makes a huge difference and only takes a few seconds. If you want to get notified every time a new episode is released, make sure to follow us on social media. We are at MiniMapAU on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch, and minimap.com.au on Blue Sky. We also want to give a very big thank you to Shook for letting us use the Moog Model D Improv as the music for the MiniMapCast. You can listen to more of Shook's music at shook.bandcamp.com.
How you been, Jeremy?
Good. Read that off a teleprompter.
I know, it looked great. We look professional and shit. This is above our pay grade.
After all of the tech not even problems, just like little pains.
Finessing.
Yeah, finessing.
Yeah.
Reconstructing that I did over the past 15, 20 minutes. I realized I didn't turn on the auto scroll for when I was talking. And so I just had the button on my, I was just pressing the slowly scroll down button. And I started pressing it really early because it was much slower than I was anticipating.
Yeah.
How you been?
That's funny. That's like that's like watching Linus Tech Tips, and they've got those knockoff Joy-Con Bluetooth controllers to.
Yeah. How have you been?
I've been good. I've been busy. Been playing some games. It's been a while, but it's been a good time for games this year. I think it's in terms of games that have come out and what we've been getting. I think it's been pretty exciting, and it kind of struck me that. You know, we're recording this a couple of days before Silksong's coming out, and staring down the barrel of September, and it's like,
which is a threat, by the way.
It is. I think September's actually much fuller than I realized. Like, Borderlands is coming out, Silksong. I think there's a couple of other things in there. Hell Is Us, I think, is this month. And then it's Ghost of Yotei and Battlefield 6 and Pokemon Czar and Metroid's coming out at some point this year, apparently, allegedly. So, I think it's going to be a busy few months. It's kind of crept up on me. But I'm excited for it.
I think Pokemon will get pushed out.
You think Pokemon's going to get pushed?
It'll stay this year, but I think it'll. No, sorry, Pokemon's in October. Okay, so that's.
Yeah. What about Metroid, though?
Oh, no, Metroid will, I think, be December.
Yeah, I hope it makes December.
They've recommitted to it so many times. I think
True.
it'll be fine.
It's just so strange. We'll talk about it later because part of our discussion this week is Switch 2. But how they're discussing when that the release dates for their games, when they're coming, if they're coming, it's been a very strange few months on the Nintendo communication side of things.
Yeah, they're in a funny spot. But yeah, you're right. We will get to that.
They shouldn't be.
Yeah. We will get to that. A touch later. But first, we've been playing some video games.
Yeah.
Do you want to start off with what you've been playing?
Yeah, if you like, I could do that.
Yeah, go for it.
So I didn't think I would do this, but
it's so funny
25,
you did this.
I know, it's nuts, honestly. But 25 hours into the game later, I have replayed Hollow Knight. And to be fair, I did start a new save file 6 months ago when I got a lightweight computer, strapped it to the lounge room projector, and I was like, oh, give things a go here. What's this? Oh, Hollow Knight. So I played an hour there then. But anyway, I picked it back up properly in earnest after the Silksong trailer came out nearly 2 weeks ago now. And was like, let's just see how far I can get. Let's just get some distance. If I can, I might breeze through it because I played it before. I played it in 2019. Originally for our Game Club podcast, but the game took so long that I think we all burnt out on it before we could record anything for it.
I didn't.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been really fun to go back to, sort of knowing the general arc of the unlocks, and when being aimless and walking around and discovering things in that game is good, but I think it's also good to be a bit more focused and targeted and have a bit more of a goal, because I'm like, oh, I think I get the crystal dash next, and I'm pretty sure I remember going to this area after this one. And so that's been actually quite good, having that underlying vague memory of a structure while I play this game again. Yesterday I decided to finish, like at some point I was like, oh, I have all the things to beat the game, there's just side things I can keep doing. And yesterday I got to the point of like, okay, let's wrap this up. You got to find the 3 dreamers in the second half of the game, and I had 1 left, and I was like, okay, let's go do that, and then I'll go beat the Hollow Knight, and I'll have beat the game and get the ending I got the first time. But I would like to see the extra content I didn't see last time, which is the sort of the better endings and the more truer endings with like different boss fights, and maybe some of the DLC and some of the harder challenges. I didn't do the Path of Pain last time, for example. So yeah, I've been deep in it. I was just saying while we were getting started before, I was just saying to you, Jeremy, I was like, I keep seeing the icon on my desktop. It's like sitting right in front of me. Like, and we're just sitting here. I was like, maybe I play a little.
Like the Green Goblin mask, like, you wanna play me now, don't you?
Exactly. It's just the Hollow Knight's empty eyes boring into my skull.
Come on, Norman.
That is the icon for the game, which is so yeah, it's been funny to me how much I've enjoyed this time around, because when I stopped playing, my impression after finishing the game last time was, I was like, yeah, that was good. That was like decent. That was like pretty good. I wouldn't say great. I wouldn't say I had a great time with it. I think I got annoyed with it a lot of the time. I think because I was a bit aimless and a bit stumbling around. But I could never quite put my finger on like, I like it. I played the whole thing. I kind of couldn't stop, but also I'm like a bit miffed towards the end. I didn't like some of the fights. It got a bit like really hard. What's that about? And through playing it this time, I remembered how I was playing it last time, and I realized that I was doing it a disservice back then. Not only was I playing it on a projector in my lounge room, which I play most games on, which is usually fine, but it does add usually a little bit more latency than you'd get on a computer monitor or a TV.
Yeah, the light has got to go from the bulb to the wall.
Yeah, you can see the travel distance.
If you look directly into the bulb, it's a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Don't look there. Look where it's coming from.
But yeah, that's why you just gotta wait. It's too pure. It's too bright otherwise.
That's a dumb joke.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
Speed of light is like 50 meters a second or something. So yeah, not only did I remember that I was playing it on a projector last time, I was also streaming it from my desktop computer in here to the lounge room to my like crappy 2015 laptops via Steam Link. And so that adds latency, and it was pretty good. The thing is though, Hollow Knight is deceptively twitchy. It's deceptively its response time is a hard requirement. It is so snappy in how you move and how you attack, and the reaction time you have for the harder bosses. There's actually really, you can't really have any leeway with the latency. I could play shooters on the projector. I could play Elden Ring. I could play heaps of stuff with the amount of latency that's there, and it's not a problem. But Hollow Knight, it turns out, it's really not on. It really sacrifices the quality of the game to be playing it in a manner that introduces even like a 20th of a second of latency, like 50 or 50 milliseconds, I think.
Yeah, like it's sort of it's in the same league as a fighting game or even a rhythm game.
Yeah.
Which,
yes.
Yeah, like a lot of the games that are very punishing that you think of, like you said, like Elden Ring and stuff. They have a touch of buffer there for you ready to go. Like I've been playing Sekiro a lot over the past like few weeks, and there is nearly no buffer, especially where on I am, which is like New Game Plus.
Because instead of your roll giving you like close to a second of invincibility, you've got like less window to get the parry exactly right.
Yes. Yeah. They need you to really nail it, and like I was I was describing Sekiro today as a rhythm game. Because I've been playing it a little bit without actually looking at the screen. Because I'm doing a boss that I've done over and over again. But like Hollow Knight is not dissimilar, where it is you need to be on, otherwise it will punish you.
Yeah. So it was funny looking at my time back then and being like, oh, I actually kind of screwed myself here. And I don't know how I would have figured that out necessarily. I mean, it was a lot of links in the chain, but playing it here, like I would play on the projector and I'd be like, oh, I'm stuck on this boss. I'm so frustrated. Ugh. And then I'd come back and I'd sit down at my desk the next day and I'd be like, oh, I'll play an hour or two, beat that next boss first try at my desk. It's like, oh, there's actually a limit here to how much you can mess with this. So it's good for me to realize that, especially ahead of Silksong. It's like, don't fuck with it. Like if you're gonna play this game, like set yourself up for success. Don't add hurdles in front of yourself to make it harder to enjoy. And I've realized that for me to realize that for this playthrough of Hollow Knight as well. I've been able to enjoy it so much more. I got all of the grubs today, Jeremy. Like I've nearly finished a lot of the base game content. There's some really hard bosses I've got to do that unlocks then the Path of Pain, that when I finish that, I then get the final ending, which has like a really hard boss at the end of that. And then there's the DLC. Like I'm really set for it. I might run out of time before Silksong. So like, that's fine. I've put in 25 hours and gotten further than I did last time, but it's been really, really enjoyable. I am a little worried I'll get burnt out on Silksong, but I watched the trailer again for the first time since it launched a couple of weeks ago today, after having done a whole playthrough more or less. And it's like, it properly sunk in for me how slick this new game is looking.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty exciting.
I was reminded of when what I did earlier this year, which was I played through the entirety, almost like 80-90% of Elden Ring, leading into Shadow of the Erdtree. And then I didn't play Shadow of the Erdtree. Because I'd put in...
You planned to play Erdtree, and then it didn't run well on Steam Deck.
Yeah, like there was more than one
you were
factor.
also a bit burnt out.
I was a touch burnt out, but also... I put something like 60 hours into Elden Ring over like a 2-week period. So like I was concerned that you were going to go through the same thing that I went through, but 20-ish hours over like a week is still a lot, but it is not, I think, going to be the point where it will fully burn you out based on the levels of excitement of Silksong. And I also think just like the general vibe of how different feeling Silksong looks like it's going to like play, like the actual like even just the movement of the Hornet looks like it's going to be different enough that you're not going to feel like it's retreading the same or like even just like occupying the exact same space, whereas like, you know, Shadow of the Erdtree is it's your guy in the next zone. Like you just take him.
Or even if you go from like Metroid Fusion to Metroid Dread, for example, where it's like, okay, like they're different, and this one has, you get the grapple beam later, and this one has like a new, like the dash ability in Dread, but you're still playing Samus, and it's like still a Metroid game in that sense. Like you're right, it's a brand new character, a whole new move set. That when I'm thinking about Silksong and what is exciting about it now, it is being able to experience that same loop of discovery, that Metroidvania loop in the Hollow Knight space, but again with new abilities and new movement sets and new problems that they didn't serve up to us in the first place. And it's like, I'm not going to know exactly what the problem is when I see it this time, because they're going to give us something additional here. So yeah, it is exciting to see it similar but different and tweaked and expanded upon. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Have you pulled in like in your time revisiting it? Like there are bosses that you're like, oh, I remember this boss. Not like like you're not like, oh, I know the whole moveset, but you're like, yeah, I remember the sort of the gist of what I kind of need to do here. Like, oh, this one was a very aggressive one. This one is a very defensive one. Have you picked up new like narrative
you tech.
You were like, no, I was going to say like you narrative threads that you were like, oh, I remember that this was over here, but now that I'm revisiting it, I sort of understand why this is over here. Or like, are you pulling together any additional threads that are a little bit more of the story setting environment vibe?
Yeah, I have been pulling a bit more, not heaps. It's more like they mention the pale ones and I actually pay attention and I'm like, who are they? And like, when they talk about like the civilization that came before Hallow Nest, it's like, that's interesting. Maybe that's where, you know, that some bits are explicit where they're like, oh, the glowing bits of soul in the soul sanctum, those come from the prior civilization before Hallow Nest. And it's like, okay, that's interesting. That's cool. And understanding a bit more of the world design, how there's the blue lake in sort of the upper levels of the map. But the blue lake spans across the entire distance of the city of Tears, which is underneath it, which is why it's raining, because it's leaking from the lake above it. Like understanding all of those sort of environmental threads, how they all combine together, and seeing a bit more of the environmental detail in the sort of the crossover zones as you go from one of the zones to the next. There's usually, before you hit the fungal wastes in the previous zone, as you get down, there's sort of more and more mushrooms as you go through that final level that gets you into that next zone, which is a really neat touch. Which then makes it even better when you come around all the way like 4 hours later and you're like, wait, why are there mushrooms here? It's like, am I about to find a new entrance to this zone I was in like hours ago? Like, I think more than the story that's in the game itself, what I've been picking up more on is
don't call me moron.
sorry. I know you're sensitive about that. What I have been picking up more is those environmental details and specifically I guess just buddy. I don't know. It has been more enjoyable, but I think that the thing I appreciate the most is how much variation they have within the environment and how bespoke it all is. Like while the fungal wastes or green path or the city, you know, they all have their own oeuvre, they all have their own biome, they all have some assets that get used all throughout them.
How good is the word oeuvre, by the way?
Oh, it's nuts.
It is like what a strong carrying word that is.
Yeah. It's good when we steal from the French, I think. Mm-hmm. That's a good one that I'm glad we've got. But
it's got a certain something about it.
Yeah. Something I cannot quite say.
Yeah. I don't have the word for it.
But yeah, it's wild how unique each room is, each path, each tunnel, and how many layers they've got. It's a 2D game, but the amount of parallaxing, when you look at it, it's like some of these rooms are like 10 layers deep of the assets of what you can interact with in the foreground and like break all of the breakable items. Some of them you can bounce on, some of them you can't. Some of them, if you know you can bounce off them, you can do shortcuts. And then all the stuff in the background, all of the different lighting. The lighting's amazing in this 2D game. It's you know, it's all dark, but there's so many impressive light shafts and different ways that they make the areas feel unique and make the rooms feel unique. When we were studying game design, my final project when we were there, I did with my friend Ollie, we decided to make a Metroidvania, sort of, you know, the start of a Metroidvania. We didn't have that long. And it was really hard. And we kind of got there in the end, but it was proper difficult. And looking at Hollow Knight, thinking about how we tried to make a Metroidvania one time, is like, we were trying to make this in 3D. And I'm looking at all of this. It's beautiful, it's bespoke, it's handcrafted, and it all tells a story. Every room and every when you see a husk of an enemy here, it's like, oh, why is that enemy dead already? What happened? Oh, there's a predator in the deep nest. Like it all comes together in a very detailed, meticulous way, much like a FromSoft world builder kind of way does. And it's like, yeah, no wonder we struggled with creating something in this genre like that as students, because you can't just use a room toolkit to modularly stick them all together, because it has to be a bit more interesting than that. The environment, the map, the world itself is part of a Metroidvania. It is what you unlock. Your knowledge of the world is what you unlock and develop, and unlocking that is the experience in and of itself. So it's really impressive the way they've done that. To put themselves in this small Australian team, to put themselves in the genre right up there with the best Metroid games and Symphony of the Night. It's a feat.
I had a memory like,
it's some deja vu.
well, no, like, no, not even deja vu, just like I had a memory just like gave me like psychic damage just now.
Yeah. Did you go back in time 6 years to the last time we spoke about Hollow Knight on the podcast?
No, I actually went back further. So I was thinking about like how part of Hollow Knight was made, and I read like I wrote an article. So I read an article many years ago in Game Informer, Australia.
Oh,
which was written by.
That's funny because you said Game Informer, and then I didn't say this, but in my head I thought, I was going to say Rest in Peace, but they're back, and then you said Australia, and I was like, oh,
yeah, actually,
Rest in Peace.
Yeah. Written by Dave Milner, which was a feature he did on the making of Hollow Knight.
Oh, is that on their site? Hopefully,
yes,
hopefully,
yeah, it is.
They've brought that back.
Yeah, I literally just pulled it up.
Nice.
It's not credited to him. I think when they brought everything back up, they lost a lot of the credits.
I've heard that from some freelancer friends of mine. They're like, "Hey, what the fuck? Where's my?" So yeah. I think that was a problem they had.
Yeah, especially with like who knows how the Australian and the American sites, whole thing. Anyway,
Dave Milner wrote this story on Hollow Knight.
Yes, and I remember specifically talking to him about that at PAX when Silksong was there in 2019.
Oh wow, 2019, yeah.
Because that was the last PAX before Game Informer AU shut down.
It's also the last PAX before COVID.
Yes.
We also played Hollow Knight in 2019, I'm pretty sure. Or if not 2018, maybe 2018, but we played it that within the year, I think, of that.
Yeah, we did. We did, because another thing that I spoke to him about was not just Hollow Knight and how much I liked his piece, but also the fact that he was on a panel that you and I went to.
Oh, now here's the psychic damage. Yeah, go on.
When we decided to start this website a million years ago. And I said to him, like, I'm here doing this partly because of what you and James O'Connor and Lucy and stuff were mentioning on this panel. And he was like, I think he said, good luck. And then I remember him distinctly saying, it's fucking hard, man. Which is very funny and a hilarious, like, oh my God, that was a very, very long time ago. Funny though.
Back when it wasn't even, it feels harder now than it ever has been, Maybe that's just because we're in it more. But
no, just every waking day.
It's been pretty hard the last few years.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But also he was right.
He was right. Yeah. Hollow Knight.
Oh, Milner's so good.
It's a banger of a game.
Oh, it is. The soundtrack. I'm not saying anything new today that no one has, that people haven't said before, but
it's good to be reminded.
The soundtrack's good.
It's good to be reminded that we were all collectively correct when we said that Hollow Knight was probably like a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing it really makes me think of when I was sitting here when we were building the show and I was singing Hollow Knight songs to myself, and I was like, man, it's got the soundtrack's good. I was thinking of the Indie Symphony in 2023. We went to the sequel that happened this year, which was good. It was a bit more sporadic. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, you didn't. Sam and I did. It was a bit more sporadic in terms of what they had this time. It's a bit less focused. Although last time was, a motley group. But the final 30 minutes of that concert, performed by Orchestra Victoria, who did an excellent job, was a Hollow Knight suite, which was... I'm getting chills thinking about it right now. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it because it was so special to watch. Having not played the game in like 5 years and watching all of this footage they put alongside of the music and reminding us all how special that soundtrack is and how pitch perfect it is for the game and how much it elevates what's there. It's so exciting. We're going to get a whole nother soundtrack with this game, with this new one.
Yeah, Chris Larkin, I think, said that the soundtrack would be available the day of or something.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. They had the first one up really early too, because before I even saw or even heard of Hollow Knight, I was looking up for our Metroidvania project for inspiration for the music. I was suggested, try Hollow Knight. They've got an interesting soundtrack. It's like, I don't know what that is. And I just went through their thing and I'm like, this music's great. This song, the Green Path song, which is one of the best songs on the soundtrack. I was like, something like this is really good. We've got a foresty kind of theme. This would be great. And so like its soundtrack sort of preceded itself.
Yeah.
Like, it preceded the game for me in terms of my experience with it.
Christopher Larkin has said that the soundtrack will be available on Steam, GOG, Bandcamp on day one, with other music platforms to follow soon after.
I'm going to avoid that like the plague for a few weeks, and then I will add it to my library.
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, that's me retreading old ground, but quite happily.
Cool. The game that I've not played in a little while. But I played it earlier this year, and I've been.
We are playing catch up a bit today.
Yeah. A game that I played back in like March. Is a game called SONOKUNI, in all capitals.
Why didn't you yell it?
a game spelt in yelling. So I played this game back in March. They were kind enough to provide a review key for it. I remember playing this game. Sorry, I remember actually requesting this game for one specific reason, which was for the music. Speaking of what we were just talking about.
Okay.
SONOKUNI is kind of a mix between like Hotline Miami and like I'm gonna say this and you're gonna go like, of course you like this game, but it's kind of a mix between Hotline Miami and like the maybe a vibe or a tone of Umurangi Generation.
Yeah, or Post Void.
A touch Post Void. It's not quite as deliberately like. It doesn't quite have as much friction, I think, as Post Void.
I'm watching the trailer and I think I'm seeing a similar color palette is what I'm picking.
Yeah, like in terms of like aesthetics, it is extremely jarring. But yeah, like like to put it crudely, it is gameplay of like it is like a basic gameplay version of Hotline Miami with a narrative tone of Umurangi Generation.
Nice.
SONOKUNI is a really fascinating game for a couple of reasons. When I started playing this game, it's difficult in the same way that Hotline Miami is difficult. However, you don't have like guns in SONOKUNI. It is purely like melee. You've got like a samurai sword. It is deeply rooted in like Japanese mythology, or rather like inspired by Japanese mythology. Like it is a very, very peculiar narrative, which I'll get to in a minute. But like the actual gameplay is extremely like with your sword, all you're doing is either like slashing enemies or countering for the most part, or like just blocking in general / absorbing. So you don't have guns in the same way that you've got in Hotline Miami. So a lot of your main purpose in this game, as opposed to Hotline Miami, is actually just to only close difference. So you're not throwing anything at any point like you do in Hotline Miami. You're not doing stuns or anything like that. You are purely trying to get to the enemy as quick as you can.
Yep.
I was immediately getting quite frustrated because there was something with the gameplay that was really disconnecting for me, and I couldn't figure out what it was. It was like I knew my reaction time, it was like kind of on, because I've just sort of, that part of my brain formed at the right point where I could like get that in one of the groups.
Yep.
And especially going through.
You've been playing Sekiro this year, and
yeah, like I've been playing Sekiro since then, but like I played a lot of Elden Ring leading up to it, and so like I was on, and for some reason it just wasn't happening. And I went into the settings one day while I was playing it pre-release, just to be like, what is going on here that is making just this wrong? And there was a button which I forget what the name of the button is called, but it was ostensibly like if you do an attack or a hit, it basically creates like an impact moment. And what it does is it actually slows the game down by like a quarter of a second and ramps it back up again. But it was enough to throw me off basically every single time I needed to do 2 successive counters or attacks or whatever.
Was it hit stop?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what they have in Monster Hunter when you land heavier hits. It it's that animation thing that like Vlambeer is really good at. Like a bigger hit, they add in bigger hit stop.
Totally, which like it can work in moments. Like it's not a thing that I think is like a thing that they need to turn off like all games forever. But in a game like this, I needed to time my attacks kind of to a rhythm, especially because you're doing the whole Amy thing where you die, you're back just before that room again. You go in, you know the exact order of operations. You're building this little list of tasks I need to do, like move to the left, deflect, attack, deflect,
like
move to the
choreography.
right. Yeah, it is exactly that. And I wasn't able to bake that in. But it was purely an aesthetic thing. Like it wasn't even like in the accessibility options, it wasn't in the difficulty options, it was purely an aesthetic. The moment I turned it off, I was like, oh my God, this game rips. It was instantly like, okay, like there's some serious fun gameplay going on here. The sort of the 3 basic like terms of attack things you can do is you can like attack with your sword, you can redirect bullets, or you can just absorb bullets. Certain certain energy blast bullets, whatever you want to call them, projectiles, they're color coded, and so certain ones can be redirected, certain ones can't. But that's it. The aesthetics of this game are so much. It is very. I don't even really know what to describe it. It is almost like digital collage. Like the areas are not real. They are quite interpretative, or like almost like speculative zones where you're traveling down like the back of a creature, and then you're in a room, and then there's a kitchen, and there's a bathroom, and then there's like a bedroom, and you'll like go through 2 of those, and then you'll be in this fortress, and then you'll be on the outside on this bizarre abstract shape. Like it is not.
It's like a dreamscape sort of thing.
Kinda, yeah. And like I want to say the beginning of the game, they sort of like set that up a little bit. Like the beginning did not stick in my brain as a narrative, but as the game went on, it really, really did, which I'll get to in a minute. But they sort of, you're in a village and you go to this area to basically like attack these enemies, and then you like come back to your village and you talk to the people in your village. Like it is a bespoke, like you actually have to travel there in game, and there's like a side scrolly section where you can talk to some characters along the way, and then you sort of come back out again, and you're sort of doing like these like political, like there's not political, yes, but like you're doing these kind of assassination type low-key war attacks on this group. And so you enter this space, and it is very, very like heavily abstract with its design, which leads me to the biggest reason I actually requested this game initially, which is the music, which is so the studio is called the Don Yasser Crew. The game studio and the composer are the same, which is a hip hop group in Japan. It is the developers of the game is this hip hop group. A 7-person Japanese hip hop group in 2019, during the height of COVID pandemic lockdown in Japan, decided to make a game. With live performances impossible, their aim was to convey their particular have-not hip-hop style through Sonokuni, is what the press release that they sent me said.
Right.
Yeah. And that really made me go like, oh, like this is kind of like, between that, the aesthetic, like the actual like structure of the narrative, I was in like, oh, like there's something here that's really, really sick. And I remember sending you the trailer for this game back when I first requested it, and you were like, oh, this music is like a lot for me, like it's not my vibe. It was extremely hitting a point in between my ribs where I'm like, yes, this is exactly a thing that I need right now. Is a bunch of hip hop artists decided to make a game during lockdown.
Yeah, it's so funny because I watched the trailer without sound as you started talking about it. I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. It's really vibrant and sort of a bit chaotic, but really fascinating. And then you mentioned who made it, and I was like, oh, this is starting to sound more familiar. And I'm remembering you and I listened to it just then, having seen the trailer first, then listening to it. The trailer is cut to the music really, 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 really specifically in a way I didn't appreciate 5 minutes ago. And it works even better now. But it's so funny because this is just not really my type of music I listen to. And yeah, I guess I heard that the first time, like, not for me.
Yeah. Yeah, like
having absorbed a sort of a bit more of what this game is, I'm like, I could give this a go.
And I promise I will get to the narrative in a minute, but like that exact style of like, okay, like we've got a really specific vibe for our music, because like even just the music on its own, like it is very this group. Like it sounds really specific to like, you know, like compared to like, you know, like Japanese pop music. Japanese hip hop is smaller, just as a culture. It is not nearly like nothing, but it is definitely smaller and doesn't have quite the same level of penetration outside of Japan.
A bit more of a niche.
Yeah, especially because like hip hop is so like lyrically focused, it is harder to make an impact outside of a country where like the language isn't spoken.
Totally.
Or outside of a country where the language is spoken. So it's something that I think does not always travel as far, which means that like, you know, like a country like Japan, their hip hop community would be very specifically Japanese as well, because they're not like not only not experiencing the same struggles as they would in like America or England, but they are also lyrically getting their own direction going because of just the nature of the languages being entirely different. And so for them,
I suppose you can play the game with subtitles on while they're
some of it is actually
over the top of this bullet hell.
Some of it is in English because a lot of Japanese songs have both English and Japanese lyrics throughout as well. So every now and again there are moments where I'm like, oh, I know what those two words are, and then it's Japanese again. But far out, does the music really, really rip while you're playing this game? Like there are moments where like I'm sitting there for like 45 minutes trying to get this level down, and I'm not getting it because I'm like, it's still really hard, even with the that impact thing turned off. But I'm like, it is landing really like at a very, very similar level to the level that Hotline Miami's music hits its level in the gameplay.
Is the music continuous as you die, so it rolls through even as you die, or does it reset every time you die?
So one key difference between Hotline Miami and Sonokuni is that if you die, you don't restart the entire level. You just like, it's basically each room is its own encounter, and so you go in, the doors close, you then do that room, and then once that room is cleared, you can walk in and out freely. But you then like each room starts like a combat mode. You go in combat mode, and then the moment you've cleaned out the room, you then are back in like non-combat mode, and you're walking around the same way, but you're actually a lot faster because you're not in combat mode, and you can't do the same abilities because you're not actually fighting. But so because of that, when you die, you just get brought back out just before that room, and so the music does not stop.
Okay.
It is not like overwhelming at a point. It's not like, it's not going between like heavy like action music and then like quiet peaceful music in the entire level. Like the peaceful music is actually outside of the combat when you're back or outside of the level itself when you're back at the village.
So it sounds maybe in level structure almost like Celeste in a way, where it's like you're in this room now, you're in this room inside of this overall level.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. It's so the narrative of the game is also interesting. The SONOKUNI is about a culture of people who live in a village.
Mm-hmm.
And there has been an alien that has an alien type force that has come around, and they have started to become the dominant culture of the world. This alien force, they are kind of they are described as like perfect because they have no illnesses, they have no wars, they have no struggles, they have solved the broader like understanding of living in a place.
So it's like their culture is like a utopia. It's like utopic.
Yes. Yeah.
Alongside a less perfect culture.
Yes. However, this new type of like the character you play is sort of like the child of sort of the chief of the village, and is sort of like rebelling a little bit, being like, oh, like I don't like they're basically saying like I don't trust this new force. The nouns, it has been many months and I forget the actual nouns of all of these. However, basically they're like the character that you play is like, I don't trust this culture. I don't get it. Like they're not the vibe. And they have conversations all the time. They're like, oh, hey, like, when are you gonna join us? Like we would love to have you. We're so excited. Like you don't have to worry about like illnesses. You don't have to worry about all these wars and stuff. And they're like, no, like I'm never going to join you. Like get out of here. Like you're not even from this place. Like stop, like sort of basically dominating in a space that you haven't actually originally came from. And then sort of as the game progresses, like tonal spoilers, like I think it's kind of a reveal in the game, but you guess pretty early on that this culture is actually not just assimilating other cultures, but actually assimilating the people specifically and then wrapping them in bandages. And so the difference between these two sides, these two groups, is physically one are like people as we know people to look at, and the other one is these sort of a pineapple looking thing where there's like a sprout coming out of the top and it's wrapped in bandages fully, and then they're all speaking in between bandages and they all look almost identical. Like they look ostensively identical because again, they've not only solved all problems, everything is the same.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the perfect thing, they've got the perfect song, they've got the perfect city, they've got the perfect thing, and all sense of identity has been removed. And they are really fascinating, at least in the beginning of the game. It becomes a little bit less soft later, but at the beginning of the game, they are a soft, invasive culture where they are just convincing everybody, why would you not want to join a place where everybody, like, we've eliminated death.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the character rebels against that. It is a fascinating little nugget of like, all right, how does this work? And then so your character basically is like breaking into these places and trying to unravel this mystery of like what is what is going on behind the scenes of this thing, and it's more sinister than people realize. But what a really cool rebellious story of like there is a perfect culture. Like there is no like logical reason why anyone wouldn't want to go there, aside from the complete reduction of all identity, the complete destruction of like individualism, like original, like, you know, self-preservation, culture preservation, all that stuff. It's cool, man. It's a really cool game.
I can get behind that. That sounds thought-provoking.
Totally. And to have, you know, like a counterculture genre of music being the backing track, and also the developers of the game, it's just sick. It's just really, really fucking sick. I recommend it. It's hard and it is punishing, but far out.
Did you finish it?
I did finish it.
How long did it take you?
I was just about to pull that up. I hope it's accurate, because sometimes the Steam Deck is a little bit inaccurate. 10 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Become a harbinger of vengeance is their top line about this game. It's pretty good.
Really quick, I'm just going to see if I can pull in any of the screenshots that I took in the game. Do you know if I can pull that from the app?
From the Steam app?
They're stored in the cloud. It's
probably
somewhere.
low. Yeah, well, I think at some point it became a thing where you have to press the button to upload it. Unless you've got it set up to do automatically. I don't even know if that's an option, but I feel like Steam started making it so that you have to manually upload your screenshots. For example, I took some screenshots of Hollow Knight on my little TV computer this week. I don't see those here on my desktop.
Yeah, I'm so sure I uploaded them. Steam screenshots. Web.
Steam's starting to get a bit bogged down in its own legacy. You know, you go to your own profile page and it's like, oh, what's your favorite game? I haven't changed this in 10 years. And like,
yeah,
screenshots, 267. But is that like, what are the last ones that, oh, the last screenshots I took that were like automatically uploading looks like a Frog Detective screenshot. Someone commented on this. Played cool with you. Add to friends. I will be pleased. Less than 3.
Right. Okay.
On my Frog Detective 2 screenshot.
Terrific. Excellent. You know, that's exactly what you want.
I didn't even know that happened. When did that happen?
Anyway. Yeah. It's fine. It's a cool game. It's a very, very cool game. I recommend it.
Nice. Good sell. Looks good.
Well, we're going to go on a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk all things Nintendo Switch 2. And
question mark?
And a little bit of South by Southwest Sydney.
I
couldn't have said it better myself. I got to hit the music is what I got to do. I was sitting there going like,
you're just sitting there like, where's the music?
No, I was looking at my fucking stream deck. Anyway, we'll be back. Welcome back to the MiniMapCast. Kerry. I actually was going to have a thing where I was going to have like a lead-in like question for you. But we accidentally spent an hour and a half talking about television shows in the break.
We've been on break for so long.
We've been on break longer than we've been recording.
It's been so long since you and I have done this. We've just been gushing. We're overflowing with anecdotes.
We're just hanging out. Funny. And because of that, I forgot that I was going to ask you that question, and then I asked you it in the break.
Oh no! What was it?
I don't even remember. It was just about a television show. Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny. Everyone should watch The Diplomat. It's really good.
Justified too.
Justified also is good.
So we're back from the show. We're going to talk about Nintendo Switch 2. But just before that, one of the to pull the curtain back just a smidge. Coverage in games and in not just in games as well, in a lot of like especially entertainment media, a lot of it is just like, oh, like, provide access for a thing. We'd appreciate if you did a thing for it, tit for tat. That's how the world works, especially in the world of PR and media. One of the requirements for me to obtain a South by Southwest media accreditation, which is the pass that has allowed me to go for the past 2 years, South by Southwest, Sydney specifically. Sorry, yes, Sydney specifically. I definitely would not get the accreditation for South by Southwest Austin, because I looked at that accreditation requirements by mistake by just clicking on the wrong link when I Googled it, and it is not easy to get into that convention. You
don't think we meet the requirements?
No, not for them. They are like they are really heavy duty. I know, like I've seen professional like journalists not meet the accreditation for that because it's a huge thing. It is massive.
Yeah. Like I understand. Yeah, it is a big deal.
But yeah, so one of the requirements to get media accreditation for South by Southwest Sydney, which is occurring the week after PAX again this year.
The week after, like literally like the next day again, or like.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck. Man, that stinks. It still stinks.
Look, it does, but it's also good.
Fucking fortnight of doom over there.
Yeah, it's the Australian International Games Fortnight, but spelled
that's right.
FORN, Fortnite, like the video game. Yeah, one of the requirements is to do a piece of coverage after the convention, obviously, but also do a piece of coverage before the convention. And so, like, yeah, like I think it's also good to talk about, just because I went last year as well. Went the year prior
and the year before.
Both years that it has run in Sydney. There's a couple of things that I am excited about seeing this year. There's a handful of games that, as I was looking through the list of games that were exhibiting as a part of the Games Festival of South by Southwest Sydney, which does actually start, thankfully, a few days after PAX. The week of South by Southwest starts the Monday after PAX, but the game stuff actually starts on the Wednesday and in earnest Thursday. So like there is a little bit of room to get maybe about an hour's sleep in between there, which you probably will be doing on the flight from Melbourne to Sydney.
Yeah. I was going to say that's what the flight's for.
Yeah. So there are a couple of really cool games. I've pulled just a very short list of Australian games that will be there. That's not to say that a lot of the games that I will be seeing are not Australian, because there's a really large amount of games from like places like Brazil or China or Japan or like a lot of European countries and stuff. There's a quite a large international presence in the games festival of South by Southwest. However, these are some highlights that I am very much looking forward to. One is a game called Angel. This is being developed by Michael Hunter Games. This is a really sick looking, like, it's not quite vaporwave, and I know you will think that immediately, but it is not. It's actually breakbeat. It's a little bit vaporwave. Like 1994 computer generated aesthetic, like the kind of thing that will be like that dreamscape aesthetic that computer imagery used to focus on back when you would listen to like Apex Twin ambient mix 68 to 43 sort of vibe.
This is Windows 98 desktops and screensavers.
Kinda, yeah.
Plus vaporwave.
Yes, yeah. It's very cool, and they also put out a playlist of music to go along with this that I listen to, which is not music in the game. It's just songs that they like, and I was
their inspiration.
Yeah, I was listening to it. It's like a lot of really sick breakbeat stuff. There's another game called The Apothecary of City X, which is another game with like a really, really cool aesthetic. This one is more of a aesthetic adventure game style, like again sort of that like 2002 like it's like we're beyond we're beyond like low density pixel stuff, but it's still very creepy. It's sort of a little bit like 2D Inscription, but it's perhaps a bit more technological than that in its setting.
It's also giving me like Papers, Please vibes in a way.
Yeah,
Like with the menus, the way you interface with stuff here that I'm just from the trailer I'm looking at.
Yes, lots of menus. It is very like you have tasks that you are doing, and there is stuff that will stuff that will occur as tasks, like as your daily task is going. And there was another one which was called Blood Reaver, which is like a first-person shooter, but like is sort of a touch of neon white meets Devil Daggers. A touch of neon white in the sense that the hands are not always guns. Like sometimes you're holding like a card or whatever. It looks really cool. It's got another really cool aesthetic. And that's co-op.
Apparently, this is similar to Peak according to Steam, which I don't know if I buy that.
Right. Okay.
This is not similar to Peak.
And finally, the fourth game that I wanted to highlight as a thing that I'm pretty keen to see before I talk about the rest of the show is a game called Samurai Unicorn. The main reason, the trailer is extraordinarily Blade Runner, like low poly Blade Runner in a way that was like, okay, you're making a game for me, thank you.
Yeah.
But what really stood out to me was when I was reading the synopsis on Steam. The synopsis is an action horror game with retro graphics set in the sprawling mega city of Sydney 3.
Sydney 3, the third one.
Sydney 3, which is a great, like cyberpunk night city, like sort of vibe of like, oh, like it's like London 48 in the year 4063, but like just the concept of Sydney 3 is very funny.
That's so funny. Is it made in Australia? Do we know?
Yes. Yeah. All these games are made in Australia.
Oh, okay, cool.
Or at least,
because you were talking about how it's more international. I assumed.
Yeah, no, sorry. I specifically chose games that have at least some presence in Australia. I don't know if the studio itself is based in Australia, but that was what it was listed on the South by Southwest Sydney website.
Awesome. Those look great. Do you know if any of them are going to be at PAX?
I don't. I think I went through ones that
the PAX schedule hasn't been announced yet, so maybe everyone's waiting.
There is a lot of games announced that will announced at PAX. I think I specifically went through ones that were only going to be at South by Southwest. Okay. Because usually I tend to look at the ones that which are going to be at both conventions, and I'll pick and choose where I see them at, so I'm not bothering to like do the
cram it all in and then
and have the conversation I've had a million times, which is like I'll go to PAX and I'll play the game, and then I'll go to South by Southwest and I'll be like, hello again, and they'll be like, oh, hello again. I'm like, you tired? And they're like, yeah, you tired? I'm like, yeah. Which actually leads me to why I think it's good that it's immediately after, is because South by Southwest, the first year, 2 years ago, South by Southwest, there was a 1 week gap. So PAX ended on the Sunday. And
really? I don't remember that.
Yeah. There was a whole week, and then South by started the Monday week after PAX. And that was sort of an awkward time in between, especially for developers, and especially for developers traveling to Australia, where they were like, I have to choose. I can't afford to just put myself up for a week in Australia while I'm not doing anything or while I'm developing on my laptop. That's quite a large expense. It also, I think, it makes those weeks feel a bit more cohesive, even though they are deliberately separate. South by Southwest is sort of its own weird thing. There is at least a lot more attention being put on the games at both conventions and conferences because there is room for both of them. A lot of the international, like the guests, they don't end up staying there for the entire week and change. I don't think they need to, but I think it does. I think allow people like like last year, Yoshi P was doing a talk as part of Melbourne International Games Week, but also like again for the second year in a row, Shuhei Yoshida was around from PlayStation at that point, wandering around talking to developers, and then he did go up to Sydney, I believe, the following week. He was doing sort of the East Coast because there was a few Australian indie partners that he was visiting while he was down. Same with
PlayStation's offices are in Sydney too, like in Australia.
Yes, but he was also here with Greg. Is that his name? The ex Double Fine person. I forget that man's name. But they were both wandering around talking to developers. And they were also at, or at least I think Greg was at GCAP as well. It makes a more inviting environment, and it makes a better reason for folks, international folks, to come to Australia, because it's a long way, it's not cheap, it's quite the distance. It's not it's sort of a little bit of its own thing. I think that makes it a holistically better experience. That being said, I was walking around South by Southwest, specifically the tech area, last year. Yeah. Now, the structure of this convention is very different to PAX, where the games have their own area. Last year it was in a different location. It was in a university building just across the road from Fortress, which is where a lot of the evening events for the game stuff happen. I think that's a good spot for it.
Okay, cool. Because South by Southwest it's film, it's music,
film,
it's
music,
games,
and like entrepreneur stuff.
Okay.
Tech Innovation Expo is what they've called the entrepreneurial stuff, which whatever. Games, music, screen, and then there's like a couple of other stuff, which is like sort of larger than all of that. Like they've just got like the conference, which is some other stuff. The thing about South by Southwest is it covers it's all over Sydney CBD, because they need theaters for screens, and they need like venues for music, and they need convention space for the tech.
They can't just like hire out a university for a week.
No, but I also don't think that they should, because like I think that they are separate enough. Like there is some crossover sometimes, but we don't have film screenings at PAX unless it would be for like Indie Game the Movie, right? Like that is
totally
about
like a doco, or
like not even a licensed film would have a film screening at PAX. There might be like, one or two music performances, but they are still like video game first, music performance second a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So they moved it to this university building, which is across the road from Fortress, which is where a lot of the night events were occurring for the game stuff. The problem was the year prior, it was in an adjacent building, but a little bit further away the year prior, but all of the talks for games are happening at the ICC, the International Convention Center, which is where the tech stuff is happening, which is like a 25-minute walk if you're sort of like, if you're pretty like firmly going at a pace. And some of the VR stuff was under tech and not games, and then it was put in the ICC. And so I had a mate who was running a VR thing, and she had like a physical like disability, which meant that she actually couldn't make it to the game stuff because it was either a 25-minute walk for someone who is like able-bodied, and also it's like quite warm in Sydney, or it's an Uber
in the middle of the CBD.
In the middle of the CBD, which you don't love either.
No, so, it's like, what would that be, like $30-40 for a 5-minute ride?
Yeah, not great. And so moving it to where they did last year is better. However, when I went to the tech area last year, which I only went once, whereas the year prior I went a few times because I was waiting for the games festival to begin, they occupied a huge section in the middle of the ICC. Last year they had enough to fill half of that.
Oh.
And then they put false walls in because and they had the room. That room was not being used. And they couldn't fill it. And that would
put the games there.
Well, so that's what they're doing.
Because you kind of want them near Fortress.
Yeah, but that's what they're doing now, is that they're moving they're moving the games to the ICC this year.
Right, in that second half of the thing, or somewhere else.
Either there or maybe they've got another one of the halls. I actually don't know.
Yeah.
But that's where the game stuff is now. But Fortress is still really far away now.
Yeah.
And now everyone's going to have to do a huge...
It's going to be this evening 5 p.m. migration.
Yeah. And that's
3-4 times.
That's not going to be great for developers who have got their laptops with them and then want to take it
Oh Christ.
Yeah, it's awkward. I think it was like, again, I've not been this year. It hasn't happened this year. But in my mind, I feel like it was better how they had it, but maybe they couldn't get that space because of university space. The other funny thing as well, which like I did talk about for the first time, and they did improve it a fair bit because now it became a known quantity, but they exhibit their games differently. This is very much like a press event or a media event or a investor event. Like it is not really for the general consumer. If you're a general consumer looking to get the Games Festival tickets to play those games, it's going to be a very strange experience for you because they're on a roster of about 4 hours and then the room closes for about 45 minutes and everyone swaps over and then they pack up and pack down. But like you've got like 3 or 4 shifts throughout the entire convention. So that you'll be on in the morning and then another one you'll be on in the afternoon and another one you'll be on a lunch. And the first year, all the developers were like, I don't know what to do. I thought I was going to have a whole booth and I've got a table like for half a day, 3 times.
Yeah.
But, and they're also like, where's all the people? And I'm like, I'm like, this room is mostly developers and people with media bosses. However, the second year they were like, this is great. It's different to PAX. I'm not selling. I'm having conversations. I'm going to meetings. I'm catching up. I'm talking to publishers. That worked for them because they had the ability to like...
bit more of a business conference.
Yeah. But the tech stuff is sort of a mix. The tech stuff is definitely a mix between like sort of just like general tech enthusiasts, hobbyists, and also, business people wheeling and dealing. I don't know how it's going to work. They're in a really funny spot.
It sounds like they only have imperfect solutions to all these problems. Like,
yeah, and part of it I think is just that it's the baggage of South by Southwest as a festival exhibiting as a thing that has worked in a town like Austin, which is this huge like art culture town in the middle of
hub.
America, and they've been doing it for like 15 years, maybe more. Like it's been going for ages and ages and ages, and they've sort of perfected it to a certain way. And Sydney's a different vibe.
Yeah,
they've got the bloody tours in New South Wales plastered every single centimeter of that city because they paid a absolute fortune to get that festival in Sydney and maybe keep that festival out of Melbourne. Not that I'm spruiking that rivalry. However, yeah, it's a funny spot to be in. I don't know how well it's going to work, but I wish them luck.
Mm-hmm.
The vibes are good there. I really like going. But I do think that they would potentially have the ability to really, really go if they didn't need to sort of facilitate this larger thing of South by Southwest the week. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how we go.
Yeah.
Danny O'Dwyer will be there.
Very exciting. Very exciting. Is he doing a keynote or is he just going to be there?
He's a part of the speakers, or he's a part of the experts, or however they describe them.
Yeah.
As well, Ralph from Skill Up, or Ralph from Skill Up. Ralph.
Oh, is he going to be there? That's cool.
Yeah. He's doing a part of the mentorship stuff. Yeah, I'm excited to go. The night events are good. The night events are really good there. The vibe at Fortress is much better than Fortress here, first of all, but also just like the energy there is exciting for there to be another games thing happening the same time as Games Week in Melbourne.
Yep.
So yeah.
Nice, cool. You reckon it's gonna feel like they've found their feet properly this time, or?
Like, I really don't know. Like, I think the game stuff will continue sort of its own spot, as games often does. But, like, there is a part of me which goes, like, at the end of the contract, like, it just might not be renewed.
Right. To run
South by Southwest in Sydny. Yeah, because I think it was a 6-year contract, I think, overall, or it was a 5-year extension on the original or something. But it was like, it's like a I don't know if it peaked $1 billion, but it was just a lot of money.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, that means that they'd be halfway through. Hopefully, they find their groove before the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Cool. Exciting.
let's talk Nintendo Switch 2.
They didn't change the sound.
No, and I think that's a little bit disingenuous to the console, but we'll talk about that, I think.
Yeah. So this is part of catch up because, like we said, we haven't really had a chance to do this yet.
Yeah, it's a little bit of like it's sort of like a retro on how the launch has gone for them.
Yeah, Switch 2 in review 3 months later.
And like the rumor on the web is that there's going to be a direct within the next couple of weeks, which should probably outline, I guess, what the Switch 2 has got going for it for the at least until the end of the year and a touch into next year.
A Metroid Prime release date, please.
Yeah, like that'll be
2025, please.
We can talk about it now.
Yeah,
Metroid Prime is releasing this year. They have recommitted to it over and over again. Like specifically mentioned it over and over again.
No, you're right. They haven't put a date in, but it's been reaffirmed. It's a good point.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about that game dropping to early next year.
You know what's funny? Playing Hollow Knight, I wasn't done with the game yet, but I went back and watched one of my favorite YouTubers who we were introduced to at uni, Game Maker's Toolkit. Excellent if you want to learn more about game design. He did an episode of his Metroidvania / adventure development design breakdown series on Hollow Knight. And the very end on the credits, he's like, "Oh, so good to cover this game. It's one of my favorites. It's such a good thing of the genre. And don't worry, of course, I'll be covering Silksong, Metroid Prime 4, and something else." And I'm like, neither of them are out, and this video is 5.5 years old. It was just this moment of like, we're still waiting.
Actually, that's a question for you. I'm going to ask it now, but I don't want an answer until the end of the show. So now that Metroid Prime 4 and Silksong, the ones are
they're coming.
What's the next one of those?
Oh yeah, like the Last Guardian.
Yeah, exact same thing.
Yeah. Maybe it's Ueda's new thing. We haven't seen anything from that in the last year, but
yeah, but that's not a story.
It's not the same.
Yeah. Have a think. We'll come back to it. Yeah. So the Switch 2 came out. We both bought one. I think, I don't know about you, but I think a little bit, I was feeling like there was going to be a little bit more of a rush for this than I guess there really was. And I think we noticed that a little bit when the pre-orders occurred and they didn't actually sell out.
Yeah, it was funny, wasn't it?
Yeah, like day one sold out, but like they at no point did they stop taking pre-orders for this in Australia, at least. They did in America, but that was because of the tariffs.
Yeah. It was also funny because, and the pre-orders were delayed in America because they didn't want to nail down the price just yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was funny. It didn't really ever sell out, but it's not because it didn't sell well. It's because they had so much supply, which is a really novel way to tackle this that we haven't really seen before. Especially, and it's also interesting to look at this launch in comparison to the last launches that we really took part of, which was the PS5, Xbox Series launches.
Yeah.
Which, Xbox kind of did Xbox things kind of in its own corner. But with the PlayStation, it was infamously hard to get pre-orders before it came out. And then it was drastically difficult to get your hands on one of those consoles for a year plus after it came out in sort of an unforeseen way that we'd never seen before. So this was refreshing to just be like, oh, you want it, you can go get it. The price wasn't very refreshing, but
no. It's an expensive machine.
Yeah, it's an ask.
How are you feeling about it now? What are we, 2 months after?
3, I think, because it was the very start of June and we're at the very start of September. So we're just about on 3 months.
Yeah, right. How are you feeling about it?
Wild. Look, I'm a little torn. And it's sort of similar to, like, we did a bit of a breakdown for this after they did their big reveal.
Yep.
And I think we said, it looks exciting. They've got VRR there. They've got HDR. They've got 4K.
I think I called it boring.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. And, it's Switch 2. It's not like the GameCube to the Wii. It wasn't particularly different, and that's safe, and I think that's fine. But you're right, it was safe, and it has continued to feel safe in the hands and in the pockets, and thinking about like what games are coming out and the catalog and stuff like that. It is really nice to have. I'm glad I've got this. As someone who doesn't have a Steam Deck, I think this is a good purchase for me personally. I'm looking forward to playing Silksong on this. I'm hoping to get it on this rather than PC or PS5 or anywhere else. Like, it is performant most of the time. It's a neat it's a neat form factor. I think they've nailed what it needed to be a better Switch. It's a little weightier. The screen is much larger, much nicer. The controllers are a bit bigger. Still not great ergonomics. The kickstand is awesome.
Sorry, just to jump in, the screen is only nicer if you don't have a Switch OLED.
Yes, although it is still larger.
Yeah, sorry, it is a larger screen, but.
And you're right. I'm comparing this to my launch Switch, which is really the only one I've had. I never saw an OLED running until PAX when we played Prince of Persia on it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I do think this is a great upgrade for me as someone who bought the last one 8 years ago now. This is a good thing. I mean, I want YouTube on it because I use YouTube a lot on my Switch. So, like, while I'm doing the dishes, it's a good thing to have, and this doesn't have it.
That's so fucking funny.
I know. I'm not going to tell you the amount of hours I've got on YouTube because the Switch tracks it as an app, like a game.
Don't worry, I can see it because I could just look at your hours.
Yeah, don't dox me, okay? But we'll talk about it after the show because it's embarrassing. But anyway, I'm glad it's here. I was really enjoying playing it, like when it came through and it was like, oh, it's new and it's fun, and I'll play some of my old games and see how they look, and I'll play Mario Kart World and see how that looks. Pretty quickly, it kind of fell into that same niche of the first Switch for me, though, where it's like, have I got something to play on it? Not right now. Okay, I'm not going to be doing anything with it then. And it just sits there.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I was perfectly happy with that with my Switch. But also, I paid like 60% of the cost of this console for my first Switch. So it's a bit funny. And the games are so much more expensive now. I still haven't bought Donkey Kong Bonanza because it is so expensive. I'll get to it this year. I'll get there. But I actually have to think about it for a second because I'm like, fuck, it's a lot of money.
Yeah. And yeah, like I've been similar, and I own Donkey Kong. And I really like Donkey Kong. I think it's really good. Like, I don't think it's a 10. I think it's like an 8. It's really, really fucking fun. The
like, if Silksong's an 8, I'll be happy. You know, kind of like 8's are good.
Yeah, I think if Silksong's an 8, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed. But like I think that Donkey Kong is a really good, enjoyable game. The mechanics are really fun. It's funny. It's got really good energy. It looks pretty good. It is mostly performant. But it is not Mario Odyssey, and Mario Kart World is not Mario Kart 8.
I do think we need to talk about World, even if just briefly. It is, I think Nintendo really got in their own way with this game.
Yeah. In
a really unfortunate way. The bones of it are really solid. I think like
they really
exactly
Nintendo'd it. They really fucking Nintendo'd it.
They really did. That's a perfect way to put it. They just made really weird, arbitrary choices. And in the post-launch support, they have continued, they've like tripled down on their design decisions and in their limitations of their game, which they may not see as such, but the community definitely does. Like, yes, it's excellent that they've got this new way of playing where you can drive to the courses. That's cool. But it is a bit one note and a bit sort of generated because these roads are just there, and then they are kind of straight because it's just about getting you to the next place rather than being an interesting course to drive on. Like they try their best, but sometimes they're just not that interesting.
It would be like making courses out of the long stretches of roads in Grand Theft Auto 5 in between the points of interest. Like it's
which they did, and it was like
yeah, but like that game is sort of its own thing that makes that fun in a different sort of way.
Mm.
Whereas this is like, the courses are so full of personality, and they're like another character, you know, like you're there and you're playing the course as much as you're playing against each other. Whereas the transition tracks are not really anything. Like they're
yeah,
not,
like
they're
some
not
of
all
them have
bad.
got like animals running, and like you start to notice the environment change as you get closer to the thing, and then you get there and it's like, oh, we're in this zone now. But yeah,
And the open world is boring as batshit. It's not good.
yeah,
And I was so disappointed, especially because, like, you know, like it's the ongoing thing around like Nintendo being so inspired by Breath of the Wild that every game coming out of it has been more open world than ever. It's the game that got Pokemon to change the formula. Bonanza is similarly, like, you know, a lot of stuff, right? It's not like we haven't had open world racing games before. We've got great ones. Forza Horizon is tremendous.
Exactly.
Burnout Paradise was really good.
Exactly. Like, do you remember when we were watching the big Switch 2 reveal in April, and we were watching it together over Discord, and like right as it was about to start, I said to Jeremy, and I was like, what are they going to do different? I was like, what if it's like Burnout Paradise? And then what they showed us kind of sounded like it might be that, or like a Forza Horizon light experience.
And
I
was naysaying.
That sounds great.
I was naysaying.
Yeah. And they just, it's a shadow of a hint of that kind of gameplay, that it's actually not really there. And in terms of what that means for the whole Switch and Gen, I mean, like I said, I still think the game's great. The biggest problem with these transition tracks is they're not optional in the multiplayer. If you play online, you
can't turn them off.
You only get the choice of 3 nearby tracks, and 9 out of 10 times they're the transition courses. And they, like, when the community found a way to almost guarantee that you got one of the individual courses for 3 laps, like a traditional Mario Kart has been, by selecting the random feature, they patched it out where that will now give you a 3-lap course as frequently as you would be able to choose it on the main screen already. So they completely ignored what their community was telling them of what they wanted to be playing and said, no, you will play this our way. And it's like, you know, when you're in a park and they've laid a footpath along the park and like in concrete, but there's a well-worn path made by other like bike riders and other people's feet, because they're like, I don't want to go that way. I'm going
a natural
left
path
instead.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. It is shown by use. It is the proof is there for all to see that is where the path should have been in the first place. And that's exactly what Nintendo did, and they ignored it.
And
they fucking spat in the face of their community.
And it's also antithetical to the design of Breath of the Wild as well, where they're like, whatever, here's tools. Go make bread.
It'd be so simple for them to make a 3-lap course only, like they could call it classic mode for the multiplayer, and then anyone who wants that can just go in and get that.
And the other thing as well, on the open world, the other thing that I was thinking about was like, you know, when you go over to a Switch and you do the little mini game and you know, like fly through the rings, or, you know, collect.
Oh, in the world, yes.
Yeah, in the open world. And then you like, collect these 6 coins that are like in between rhinos that are going left and right and stuff like that. The world feels really empty. And then for a moment, it's full because you're doing this little tiny mission that is constructed. What if when you complete that mission, that little obstruction just stays around, and then you're building out this world?
You know what would probably happen? The frame rate would tank.
They're not that bad though. That game runs pretty well.
No, I know, but the thing is, there's like 200 of those things, of the P switches and
but
stuff
it's a huge world.
True, they can cull it properly. Yeah.
And it's like
that would help.
Like it would help because then I feel like I'm actually building towards something, and then I feel like I am actually understanding and learning and exploring this world a little bit more, getting a better understanding of it. I can't picture almost any part of this world. I know a couple of vague details of where one of the cities is, and there's the island at the bottom and the castle at the top. but like the world doesn't really have a form to it.
No, and it's not really that visible from the other courses in
No.
like a Breath of the Wild way. It's not like you're at the top of one of them and you're like, oh, I can. And I mean, you can if you want. You can be like, oh, I can see down to there and see down to there. But like, because you're racing the whole time, it's not like you really get to enjoy the vistas. And a lot of the ones at ground level, they've got mountains and shit between them, so that they're not drawing in 7 maps at once, which is fair enough. But like, it boxes it in a bit.
And it's also not like Mario Wonder, where you're exploring this entire circular world map going into the levels, but you're kind of learning it as you're going.
Yeah.
The courses don't feel like they have a place in the world.
Yeah, they do feel a little plonked.
Yeah. It's a bummer of a game. It should have been...
Yeah, totally.
It should have been a 10.
Yeah. And instead it's like a 7.5 or an 8.
Yeah, it's like the second best Mario Kart you can play on the Switch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is a real shame. And I hope they learn their lesson. I hope like it might take them 18 months, but I hope they put in like classic mode or something. Just make it easier to play the 3-lap tracks, because the tracks they've got in there are excellent. They're really, really, really strong. The playing feels really good. It's a gorgeous game. I really like all the character outfits. I love all with the random animals that you can drive that have no business driving a vehicle. Like, there's good charm and fun in there. It's in there. And the soundtrack is godlike. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really held back by their arbitrary fixation on what they have decided is the experience that you're going to have.
And, the DNA of this game, to sort of bring it back to like just going on the, like talking about the hardware, like it feels like a game where they're like, all right, we've got this new piece of hardware. What can we do with it? Like, we can make a fully fledged Mario open world kart. And that is a good enough reason on its own to give it a red hot crack, but it is it feels like a reason for the hardware to exist, as opposed for this hardware to exist so these games can come out, right? Like, this doesn't feel like a game that was like that they wanted to make and couldn't 2 generations ago, like we know Breath of the Wild was.
The thing is, there was an interview that came out that did kind of explicitly say that, wasn't there? That they were designing it for the first one, and then they were like, actually, let's do the booster course, extend Mario Kart 8's life cycle a bit, and just push this.
But it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like that was the game that they had like envisioned 6 years ago as a thing that they could have done, but were limited by the technology of their time. Like,
I think that's fair. And honestly, for me, it kind of segues into another sort of facet of like where this console is right now in terms of like itself and its performance and how it's landed in the landscape of like the current generation, I suppose. How it runs and like what it can do is much more impressive than the original Switch. Like, we were just thankful that Breath of the Wild ran at 1080 when it came out. It was like, well, that's amazing. And 720p in my hands, that's perfect. That's fine. I couldn't want anything more than that. I couldn't possibly ask for anything more than that. We'd never seen anything like it before. It was amazing.
I mean, I could have asked for some better frame rate in some areas.
Yeah, maybe a better draw distance. No, but you're right. It had its drawbacks, but we were kind of blown away anyway because it was incredible.
It was immediately limited by its hardware. Like, it was a game that not only ran better on the other piece of hardware on a technical level, on the Wii U.
Well, for a time, the patches made Switch overtake Wii U pretty quickly. But yes, I know what you mean.
But it's also a game that is like, it was already pushing its limits on launch.
Yeah, and like when you compare the Switch 1 performance or like draw distance or textures of Breath of the Wild compared to Tears of the Kingdom, there's a drastic difference. There's higher foliage density and the textures are better, and it's like, okay, they learned how to squeeze a bit more juice out of this thing. Great, good on them. But
and the same frame drops in the same places in some instances as well.
Yeah.
Which was so funny. Yeah. Some of those villages, I'm like, okay, we sure are back.
We're back. So when this console comes out and it's got 4K and Mario Kart runs at 60 on it, and it's like, okay, that's good. But then nearly no games run at 120. Have you seen this? Like, it's got the 120 panel, but like the game like nearly no like I think one of the only games that runs at 120 frames per second is what's the Welcome Tour, the pack-in game that wasn't a pack-in game. So that runs at 120 because it's got everything in it to test all parts of the system. It's just got a mini game in there that's like, can you see the difference? Cyberpunk, I think, is another one where they've got a 40 FPS mode, which uses the 120 FPS mode to give you a smooth 40 frames per second experience rather than a choppy 30 inconsistent whatever.
Okay.
So like that's cool, but I think that's it. And so that's been really disappointing for me where it's like, oh, I thought like you've got variable refresh rate in the display of the system. Why can't we uncap Mario Kart? Like, yeah, it's bad when like the frame rate's inconsistent, but the whole point of variable refresh rate is it doesn't make it jarring. It doesn't make it jittery. It refreshes as much as it needs to when it can. So you can have those in between frame rates and it still be smooth. I don't think any games that have come forward have used VRR that I can tell. And even if they did, VRR is not available if you dock the console. Bafflingly, that sounds like something they'll patch in later, like they did with Bluetooth in the original system. Because it's like, how can you have it? The system's capable of it. It could do it in my hands. Why can't it do it in the dock that makes it stronger? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah. I think 120 FPS, like I've got a 120 hertz TV. I bought a 120 hertz TV, a really good one, as like just after the PS5 and the Xbox Series came out, or maybe even just before. Like I bought it for those consoles.
Yeah.
There are very few games that can get close to there on that platform either. Like, yeah,
that's true.
And like, it's not that games. The thing is like the difference between 120 and 60. You are getting diminishing returns each time you go higher.
Yes, I 100% agree.
In the same way that, while 1080 to 4K is a big jump, 4K to 8K is again diminishing returns. Like you just don't have displays large enough. At some point things are running in real time. The further and further hertz you have, you need a bigger display if you want to get an 8K TV. If you get an 8K TV that's like 40 inches or less, like that's a complete waste of time. What an incredible waste of time. But I know what you mean. I think that like it's not that I don't mind as much because like I would prefer like there are some of the older games that you're running at 120 hertz. Like I think like Splatoon 3 runs at 120 hertz. A couple of the other back and back games. It's so like I would rather a better experience overall than I would like the number bigger.
Oh, for sure. And like I'm not just saying like, oh, they said VRR, where is it? Like I'm bringing it up because
it's like
I do think it would
half
help.
measures all the way, or it's like not even more than half, but it's like 3/4 measures to committing to all these things. It is like
It's got 4K and HDR, but the HDR on the panel on the system is not that great, and the calibration for when you're using it on a TV is so underwhelming and so inept.
Yeah. It's the to get in the weeds. The audio support on it is archaic. Again, like the stuff we've spoken about resolution and hertz and docked and handheld, bizarre like weird half measures, and then like the other like big red flag for when it comes to 3/4 measures is like it's a really good LCD, but it ain't an OLED, and it's just like there's a reluctance to commit to each of those buzzwords without actually committing to what makes those things really pop and worth it in the end. Like there are very key instances that I can think of when I've set up the HDR perfectly on the TV and the PlayStation or the Xbox, and I'm playing a game and it all comes together, and I'm like, this is video games. Or 120 hertz really does enhance an experience. Playing 120 hertz Tetris Effect on an OLED on an OLED TV is like a religious experience. Playing it at it doesn't run at 90 because it's just a little bit not powerful enough. But playing the Tetris Effect on my OLED Steam Deck at like 60 is a religious experience still. The Switch 2 is repositioned itself back where it was in relation to everything else, which is like you give and you take most of it.
Yeah.
But you got to get
like just powerful enough for some things.
Yeah, it's like we have these 5 incredible features. Which 3 would you like?
Yeah.
And which one do you want to be like, oh, I really wish
what are
this
you
was
going to
better.
disregard? Yeah. The other thing is as well, it's got it like they touted a lot of good third-party support in their initial lineup. It's looking really choppy as it's rolling out, though. Not only are some of these games completely MIA, or have been until like a week ago, like looking at Elden Ring Tarnished Edition and Final Fantasy VII Remake, but some of them are really not up to scratch. Apparently Street Fighter is good, like they've optimized it pretty well.
Okay, good.
It runs a little low frame rate in like the battle hub area where everyone's running around with their own creator characters.
That's fine.
Or like the city single player thing. But the matches are really strong and
good.
You know, that it's sort of equivalent to a Series S.
Okay.
And that seems to be pretty similar with a lot of the performance comparisons for games that are cross-platform. Comparable to a Series S in the palm of my hand, I think that's awesome. However, it does
the Dr. Octopus. The power of an Xbox Series S in the palm of my hand.
Oh, who could want anything more? It does present an issue, however, where the S is like, it's good, but it is hamstrung. It can only do so much, and it is the same position that the Switch 2 is in. Now, that was always going to be the case. It's a handheld system, but when reports came out of Gamescom a week or two ago, whenever that was, about people finally getting hands-on with Elden Ring, it's like, oh, this is the worst version of this game. It runs tragically poorly. I heard someone describe it as like playing Ocarina of Time on N64, which ran at 20 frames per second when they first were learning how to use 3D 25 years ago. Like, it's also a game that was on PS4 and Xbox One. Not that it ran well on those either, but it ran better than this. So, and you know, part of this is it's not just, oh, the Switch 2 can't run it. It's also like From Software isn't great at optimizing things. So it's like a 2-part problem there. But we're also hearing stories that developers aren't getting access to the consoles. They're either not getting enough, they're not getting them early enough, or they're not getting the support they need from Nintendo themselves to make these third-party games that are meant to bolster the system's lineup that they've already promised in some instances, to make them what they need to be, to give this thing a catalog that's actually going to make the price of the console worth it. I would love an excuse to buy Final Fantasy VII Remake again and play it on the go. And apparently that one actually, I'm a tragic.
I know.
But apparently that game actually was optimized quite well, and it does run quite well on this system. They made it work within the limitations of the system. But then you hand one of the best games of the generation in Elden Ring to From Software and say, make it run on this. It's not that powerful. And they're like, oh, I don't know what to do, because that's not our shit. We don't optimize the shit out of our things. We make experiences that are so cool and impressive, but we never made it to run on this, and we've done our best, and it's frankly not good enough. It's in a really awkward spot, especially when you've got the ROG Xbox Ally breathing down its neck, and I'm certain we're going to see a refreshed Steam Deck in the next 12 to 18 months. Like I haven't heard anything, but like I think it's time.
They announced that 2 years
Have
ago.
they?
Yeah, they announced at the same time as the OLED, I think, where they're like, oh yeah, we're going to make another one, but in the meantime, we're going to do an OLED. I think that's the case. I could be misremembering.
There's more and more reports that the Steam Deck is feeling tired in terms of what is coming out, what it's able to do, what it's not able to do now. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see it. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see it in the next 12 to 18 months, in which case it's going to dwarf this thing.
Yeah, kind of. Like, I think that, like, it's tricky because I think that, like, you know, games like Final Fantasy VII Remake apparently runs that runs really well on the Steam Deck as well, from what I've read.
Yep. Also 5.5 years old.
Yeah, I mean it's the PS5 version of the game. It's not the PS4 version, but it's
true.
Yeah, like it's they make the compromises where they can. Star Wars Outlaws apparently on Switch 2 runs really poorly, and we have explicitly not been shown footage of that game, and I think it's out in like 2 days or something, which is hilarious. That game
didn't run that well on current systems. No. Like it ran fine, but like not great.
I think they did some work on it later as time went on to continue because anyway, I think the thing is it's like it's a two-pronged problem, which is I think that like there are few good reasons that the fidelity that some games are chasing, I think don't actually need it. And this has been an ongoing thing. Yeah. I think that a lot of games are like, okay, we're going for like, like as full graphical realism as we can. And like, they don't have the time or the budget, which is a thing that like, I get it. Like you can't spend a lot of time optimizing for everything. The install rate of the Steam Deck is still quite low. It is still like, it's not worth a developer putting time into a specific version of that game unless you're a huge developer or unless you've already got a massive install base for a Steam Deck. Like I'm sure the next Edmund McMillan roguelike would, I'm sure he would look at the Steam Deck as a thing that it's worth him investing some time into it. But he's also, a big nerd, and so I'm sure he has a Steam Deck and wants it to run really well on a system that he would probably like to use.
Also, his games are lightweight because he's an indie developer.
Totally, but if he was pushing if he was going in a different direction and pushing some technical stuff, I'm sure he would look at that and go, okay, I'm going to do that. But it's not worth FromSoft to look
it's worth something, but it's
But it's not worth FromSoft to look at the Steam Deck for their DLC for Elden Ring. It is worth them looking at the main game for Elden Ring, which they did, but it's not worth them going back and saying, all right, we're going to re-optimize this game for the Shadow of the Erdtree for the Steam Deck. It's a tricky balance, They're a big studio. They can't do everything. They're in the middle of making a Bloodborne for the Switch 2.
Yeah, that's the thing. They do
and Night Rain.
They operate fast and they have a lot of teams now. That's a good point.
And so like I think that there are a lot
it's just disappointing. I wanted a good excuse to get to dive into that thing again, Like if it was one of the best places to play it, like people saying it's a good place to play Cyberpunk, Like all of it only helps to have that.
And I've played a majority of my hours in both of those games on the Steam Deck. And it has been a tremendous experience of both of those games to be able to jump in and out of Cyberpunk, do a single mission, and then just lock my Steam Deck and reopen it when I want to later. Like, what a concept. Same with Elden Ring to a lesser extent, because every time I close the Steam Deck, I disconnect from the servers and it gets mad at me.
It's like playing on Xbox.
Well, it's like playing on fucking every single FromSoft game on any console ever. It's that's its own hang up, but like I don't need that from Nintendo. Like they want to focus on third party because they want to finally be able to look at third parties and say like, hey, you don't have to just only put like, Child of Light and your Rayman game every now and again on our console. Like we can handle your other product. You can give us a Assassin's Creed, you can give us a Tom Clancy. Like we'll take it. I don't care about that. I want them to make a Nintendo game. Like
that's true. Like all of this, that's a good point. All of that is secondary to what first party can bring to the table. Absolutely, 100%.
And I need the Nintendo developers to make games that are not pushing the same level of visual fidelity that the other games, the other third parties are not hitting on the console. I need them to do something different. Donkey Kong does a pretty good job at that. It has got a similar art like design to Mario. Which ran great on the Switch one, 90% of the time. And like, Zelda, I think, will be a little bit more of a technical showcase. It will probably, like mainstream Zelda games, I can look at the two they've just put out and I can go, these will never consistently hit 30 on release. That is not a thing that they care about enough. That game is still a 10, like it's just one of those things where like it doesn't matter if it's worth it. And I don't think like mainstream AAA, I think don't know how to do that. That's not their vibe. They're
totally.
not,
And I mean,
they're not going to spend 9 years making a sequel to the game that revolutionized the landscape of RPG games. Like, it's just not, that's not what they do. They put out a game every 3 years. And so they need to chase a different horse. I can look at Battlefield 6 and go, this is an incredible looking video game, and I'm glad that it plays really good. But as someone who doesn't play Battlefield games, I'm looking at that going, this looks like every other Battlefield game relative to when it came out, because those games have always looked great. And the reports are either this is a really good one or this is a really crap one. And the visual fidelity of the game has nearly no impact on that at all in terms of how well it is remembered.
You remind me as well, because today I saw a headline about how Battlefield 6, they've foregone any use of ray tracing at all. And, it's because they were trying to tackle a baseline level of performance on all systems, which I think is admirable. Kojima did the same thing with Death Stranding 2 earlier this year.
Totally.
Which is the new benchmark for me of like the best game I've ever seen. Like, it is fucking stunning, and it doesn't need ray tracing. Like, ray tracing's great when it works, but it's so resource intensive. And yeah, you've tripped on a subject I've been mulling over for the last few weeks, which is I don't think this generation was ready for 4K, and like we're still watching it not hit that mark. Like, I don't want to ever hear the words 8K come out of a developer's mouth for the next 15 years at least, because we don't have 4K down yet. The only way we get there is with AI upsampling to mixed results, and a lot of times that's being upsampled from 1440p at most, so like why are we sniffing around 4K when even the Pro console with the PS5 Pro still can't make it work? The 5 can't, the Pro can't, the Switch 2 definitely can't. Why are we sniffing around this 4 times larger than 1080p number that is so impossible to appreciate? Anyway, like I said, it's another topic.
But I think it's the same thing where like Nintendo have always been able to sort of put themselves in a different lens when it comes to where they're positioned in the broader context of like the game hardware. Xbox and PlayStation have been at each other's necks for years when it comes to like, trying to outdo each other at like, the most performant games, the most like the highest fidelity in games.
Like how the Wii came out with a 480p max while PS3 and 360 moved to HD.
Yeah, totally. And they weren't competing in that space. The Switch also wasn't competing in the same space as the PS4 and the Xbox One. The Switch 2 realistically isn't competing in the same space as the PS5 and the Xbox Series, but it is competing in the same tone of console, which is like but it's more visual fidelity and more pixels. But they're not actually. They've tripped on the same problem I've got with the PS5 and the Series, and the PS4 to an extent, which is like there's no reason for this to exist. Like, it's a more powerful machine is not worth it. I need you to give me more than that. I need you to look at the games that you've got going at the moment, and it's either obviously not enough, which the PS4 did get to that point. Sorry, the PS3 did get to that point in the end. By the end of the PS3, we were ready for the PS4.
Yeah, totally. The 360 as well. They were both tired.
Definitely, yeah. By the end of the PS4, the joke around, Xbox and PlayStation, like, no games, it continues because all of, like, which we've spoken about at length on this very show, like, all of the really great reasons to get one of those consoles is either on the PC or even, on the previous generation of consoles.
Yeah,
it's the same with this. It's Tears of the Kingdom. It runs better on Switch 2. Absolutely. If you've got the option to play one or the other in front of you, go with the Switch 2 version. Mm-hmm. But it's not worth a $780 upgrade.
Totally.
It's not worth a $400 upgrade on the one that you've just bought.
Yeah. So then the question becomes: is two Zelda remasters, a Mario Party remaster plus content pack, which apparently is not very good, a Kirby remaster plus content pack, which apparently is good.
Donkey Kong.
Is that little suite of sort of repackaged Switch 1 games plus Mario Kart World, which we've discussed, Donkey Kong Bonanza, which we've discussed, and Dragon Drive. Are they enough to get you in for $700 3 months in? Like, I wouldn't blame you if you said no.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing is, the console's not going to go up or down in price. It might go up soon, but like, it's not going to change in price drastically over the entire life cycle of the console. So wait until there's a reason to get it.
Totally.
For you specifically, not for everybody, but just for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't feel like a schmuck for getting this when we did, partially because of like I did work on my Switch day one, so like, you know, like, and you and I being able to do this show, like, there's a justification there.
Yeah, it's got a tax write-off.
And also,
I really do want to thank Nintendo for releasing this console about 3 weeks prior to the Australian tax time coming up, because it meant that return came through mighty quick.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. But it's, you know, like, like I said, I don't feel like a schmuck for buying in on day one. But it's hard to justify to someone. It's hard to recommend to someone right now.
Even Metroid Prime is coming to the Switch One. Like, it's not a console it's not a game that is exclusive. Like, you know, Retro looks like they're putting out the best version of a video game that exists on the Switch 2, which is very exciting, hitting, you know,
4K 60
or 120/30. But again, we said last time, Metroid Prime ain't going to sell units like, you know, a new Zelda.
Yeah, like, it'll help that it's there, but you're right. It's not going to be the same thing as when Breath of the Wild came out on the original Switch, and for a while there were more copies of Breath of the Wild sold than there were Switches sold, which was hilarious. I love that stat. I'll always cite that stat. Yeah, no, you're right. You make such a good point. Like, I didn't begrudge playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, still what is one of my favorite games of all time, if not my favorite, on my aging PS4 launch edition. The console was loud. It was 30 frames per second, and it was one of the best experiences I had in games.
I played the entirety of The Last of Us original on the PS3.
Yep.
I played it again on the PS4. It was
First
better.
Spider-Man on PS4, like that entire PS4 generation of excellent story-driven games that we got. That whole generation, just a little bit more than 10 years old now, feels so long ago in the middle of this generation where we are lost, where PlayStation is lost in terms of its output, where Xbox is kind of finally picking up the pieces of what they've been trying to do for the last 10 years. Like, you make such a good point. It's the games. It doesn't matter how it runs. It's gotta have the catalog to back it up. If this thing can run games that are excellent, that's what matters. So long as this thing can provide that experience that they want to give to you.
And it will, because it's Nintendo, and they have a single spec that they go for, and they hit it. Kind of depends on they mostly hit it. We'll keep the Pokemon Company aside for now. But like
oh man, I can't wait for Zar. I can't wait.
The stars are aligning for that game to come out on a platform, on one of the two platforms that will allow it to run at 30 FPS at least, is so funny.
I could see now the rollout of that game. Review copies for Switch 2 only. No Switch 1 copies pre-release. 3 days after the game comes in. No, 6 hours after the game comes out, and Switch 1 copies are with videos go on Blue Sky and Twitter, and everyone's like, oh my fucking God, what is this? This looks awful. And 3 days later, we get the Digital Foundry comparison, and it will be so much glorious schadenfreude and also a bit of genuine sadness for the people who want to play that game on the first system.
I am remiss because I have not mentioned that the game that I've played the most on the Nintendo Switch 2 is Pokemon Sword and Shield. Like, that is the game that I was able
Sword and Shield or Scarlet and Violet?
Sorry, Scarlet and Violet.
Okay.
Because finally that game runs, and that is a good video game that couldn't run. That is the other end of that, you know, existence of this scale that we've developed, which is like good game to game that look good. Like the Pokemon is at the good game that doesn't look good end of the scale at all.
Yeah.
And that was so bad that it got in the way of the game. The moment that game was allowed to run at a performance minimum, that like meant that you didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that it wasn't distracting, right? Yeah.
It became a really great experience. It's not defending that game, but that's the game I've played the most on this system.
It's a good point. It's a good point. It's valid. I think mine's probably still looking at. I think my most played game on the system is it's Mario Kart World. I've got more than 25 hours in it. I've played a lot of other stuff on it, like passingly. Like I gave the two Legend of Zelda remasters
same. I just
a few hours each, and I played some 3D All Stars, some Mario 3D World, some Mario Wonder, all games I haven't finished. The final nail in the coffin for this thing, the GameCube emulation is a bit subpar. It adds a lot of controller latency. Like I can't walk properly in Wind Waker unless I'm playing it in my hands, because that's just like 30 milliseconds less latency or something, and then it's still bad. Like I can't walk properly in that game because of the latency. And they fucked up the inputs on F-Zero, so it's like 0 to 100 as soon as you put like 30% on the control stick. So when you're in a fast, like snappy game, you're just like bam, bam, bouncing off the walls. Like
the phrase "they fucked up the inputs in F-Zero" is so funny. That game is only like that's what the whole game is.
Yeah. I love the magnets. It has to be said. I have to say it before we end the show. I love the magnets. It's nothing. It's nothing. Like it isn't anything. It's not important. It could have been anything. I like the magnets though.
I don't like the magnets.
You don't like the magnets?
I don't like the magnets. And this goes into the final point that I've got.
Oh, great.
That it's that like the you can clip so much better than I can. That is what I like to call stolen valor. Is lifting the snap, because what sound does the Joy-Con make when it goes into the Switch One?
It's the click.
It's a click.
Which sounds very similar to fingers snapping.
What sound does the magnet make?
It's a bit more of a clunky,
it's more
clappy
more
sound,
like a thunk.
Yeah, which is why when they did the initial reveal in like January or February with that like 2-minute trailer. And it was, they synced to the music and they did that whole like walk around and they like, here's how it attaches. It did that clap. It was a big, echoey, reverby clap sound. I'm like, they've changed it. It's going to be a clap now. That's what I thought was going to
happen. And they didn't change it.
And it was a good sound.
Yeah. And even then, they could add a thing, you know, make it go like give it a magnetized like, and then do like whatever sound you want. Like give it a bit of oomph. It's the exact same thing as the fucking the sound that Xbox and the PlayStation make when you turn them on. It's the same as the previous generations. It is the exact same.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are we doing here? This is the same dumb kind of like, well, we've built up a brand and there's a monetary value to the sound that we have now.
And we don't want to disenfranchise the people who are still on the old consoles because there's so many of them. And
it's the same thing as like the Joy-Cons being uglier and having less personality is the exact same thing as the...
less colors is a bummer.
And it's the exact same thing as the fucking PlayStation 5 not having themes. It is the exact same mentality of... We don't want you to have a PlayStation. We want the PlayStation to be a thing that you have. We want
the PlayStation to have you.
Yeah. Like the PlayStation exists whether you're going to be around it or not. We don't want personalization. We don't want the ability to make it your own. We want them all to feel the same because we want you to feel like that the PlayStation is an entity, a Nintendo, an Xbox, whatever. It is an entity that will exist and is larger than the personal ownership of it, because at that point you don't want to complain about things like I can't fix it. You don't want to complain about things like this game isn't played there. All that stuff. They want it to be an impersonal experience. In this thesis, I will. No, but like this was my argument about.
I do think that's valid.
And this was my argument about like the fucking, to go really off on a very quick tangent about the fucking Astrobot game that came out a few years ago. The exact same fucking thing. The way that game.
It was 1 year.
Whatever, the PS5 one. The one that came on a disc. You finished that game, right?
Yep.
Yeah. The ending where they've got the aliens have like drawn their like items all over the PS5 and you're like cleaning it. The worst fucking thing I've seen on a PlayStation. Like the dumbest, most brain dead thing you could possibly do is like want to
sanitize your PlayStation,
like repair the purity of the PlayStation 5. Like, are you out of your fucking mind? And it's the exact same thing with this Nintendo Switch 2. It is a boring name. It is not an interesting addition to the console of Nintendo like lineage, and it is not a good thing for. Like, it is not a thing children will look at and go, like, that's a really fun way to play a video game. It's a black tablet with magnets.
You know, that's a really fun point, because I had a conversation with my niece and nephew when we were out shopping for my mum's birthday. And they were like, oh, yeah, my friends have got a Switch too. It seems fine. They're like, they don't know, because they just play games at their friend's house. They don't have them at home. So they're like, this whatever, like I don't get the big deal. I like the other one. I'm like, oh yeah, interesting. I was like, this one's got magnets, guys. They're like, okay. I'm like, yeah. But you're right, it should really sound a lot more like that, because it's a good sound, it's a good feeling. If they capitalized on that, who could blame them?
Yeah
I'm excited to see where we are in another 9 months at the 1 year mark. I'm so excited for Metroid Dread. But, you know, I would have been excited for that on the first Switch too. Prime 4, not Dread. You're right.
I mean, you should be excited for Dread as well. It's just a game to be excited about. It's a good game.
Oh, that's a game I need to load up on this panel and see how that goes too, because that game is just fucking gorgeous. Rain, hail, or shine. Yeah.
And this is, I guess, the thing where it's like our last point was, how's this post-launch going / looking? But it's like.
That was part of my thing with like third party, where it's like it's so quiet.
Yeah, but it's also
they pushed out Dragon Drive without like doing anything for it. It's like they don't believe in it. Like they just pushed it out of the nest.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know if I really blame them on that. I think that game didn't have any level of excitement around it that would have made it.
Yeah, but they designed it that way, where it's like it's entirely grey and it's in this liminal. Fun basketball court is in this liminal space that just fades into the void. Like, it's so personalityless from a Nintendo game. It's like, why did you design it that way? Of course, no one was excited about it.
Yeah,
this could have been like we should see so many things about representation and people being shown like excitement around accessibility spaces and pastimes, and instead like it's just crickets. It should have been a game where there's a little bit of excitement and personality around it. It should be a game with some color.
That is a representation of, I guess, just what the console is, as well as in terms of like, do you remember any time there was a Nintendo Direct in the first 3 years of the Switch that was like, I can't wait to play a new game on my new Nintendo Switch. That is what a really
Splatoon, Smash, fucking Fire Emblem. Yes,
a great place to play games, and part of it was the novelty of like a handheld that was performant.
Yeah.
Part of it was
they had the Wii U back catalog to pull from, because no one had that thing.
Also that. But it was also a hardware that was exciting to pick up every now and again.
Yeah.
This ain't.
I mean, go back in time to when we started this podcast 7 years ago, 1 year into the life cycle of the first Switch, by the time we'd managed to all pick one up by then. And every time for like 2 solid years straight after we started that podcast, the one thing you and June would say every time without fail was, I can't wait for it to come to Switch. God, I hope it comes to Switch. When is it coming to Switch? Hades, Hollow Knight, all of the indie darlings. Celeste launched on it, which was so good for it. When Snake Pass launched on it, everyone was so thrilled that it was running these games, because you could also play them portably. Now that's not so novel because it's on Steam, because the Steam Deck and the equivalent Windows portable machines are around as well. So it's got competition in its own space now that it created. But like, it needs to be competent in that space. Like, for it to be sort of already losing against the Steam Deck in some scenarios, I think has been one of the biggest disappointments for me. Again, as someone who doesn't already have a Steam Deck, where I was like, maybe this can be my Steam Deck.
You should get a Steam Deck.
I know, but there's like $700, $800, $900. And it
plays so much of your Steam library.
It plays so much of my Steam library, man.
You don't got to buy a game for it.
OS.
It's just there. It's just fucking there.
man, that's the thing. But there's no way I'm not buying this. Like, I'm gonna buy this. I want to play those Zeldas at 60 FPS. I'm just a sucker for that upgrade personally. They're some of my favorite games, some of my favorite franchise. And I want to see whatever Nintendo has cooking up for this generation. I'm desperate to play Prime 4. I'm really keen to play more Bonanza. I'm glad I got to play Mario Kart World. I enjoyed it. And I'll probably play it with friends if they come over. But like, it's such a weird, awkward middle stage of like, what is it going to be? And what is it even going to be able to be? Is it going to be able to be anything more than what it is, which is right now a bit of a awkward little middle child? Maybe not.
I have a very dangerous question. If we took this entire conversation and if we replaced the words Nintendo Switch 2 with Wii U,
no, I don't think. I'm thinking back to the very start of this conversation where I said, as someone who owned a Switch 1 and didn't have and had it at launch and is ready for an upgrade, this is a good upgrade. I think it does that better than the Wii U did as an upgrade to the Wii.
Yeah, but the Wii U, you could watch videos on the Wii U. You can't watch videos on the Switch 2. The Wii U had a DVD player or something.
That's true. You could hardly watch videos on the Switch 1. It's just they had like 3 apps. They had like Crunchyroll and YouTube and maybe something else. If you replaced it with the Wii U... No, because they didn't step on that rake of throwing away the things that worked with the original Switch. That's the whole point of the Switch 2, was to keep it consistent with what they knew people liked and what they wanted to see, which was the form factor, which was the portability, which was the adaptability with the controllers. They've still got all of those pros in their favor by being so faithful to what the original console was. And that was the biggest flaw of the Wii U, was they threw away what made it so good. Yes, you could still pair your original Wii controllers and play your original Wii games on the Wii U. But because of how they named it, no one knew that. It was so confusing that the masses that bought the original Wii, they were like, well, I don't need that. It's some extra thing. I don't even know what that is. It probably doesn't even play Wii Sports. I want to play tennis or Wii Fit. This doesn't do that. Everyone gets that this is the second Switch. It's like the first one, but it's better. That's what they've avoided. They've avoided that catastrophe by playing it so safe. Now they have to deal with the fallout of playing it so safe for Nintendo. That's part of the excitement of Nintendo, is watching them strike out for something and strike gold, because they've done it so often. It's just not guaranteed. It's so risky. And they saw that risk play out 15 years ago now, 12, 13, whatever it was.
So it's a 3DS.
Yes. Spot on. Not that exciting when you look at it on the face of things. I'll get there eventually. I got a 3DS when it was almost dead, like 6 months before the Switch was announced.
And I got a 3DS on almost launch, like maybe within a year, because of Kingdom Hearts, and then I didn't play it for. Well, I just played DS games on it.
Yeah. And then like a Pokemon comes out or something, right? And then you're like, ooh.
Yeah, that was
Pokemon XY.
Might have been all I played on it, like that, and
yeah.
I
mean, 3DS had a good library, but it didn't have like. I wouldn't have said it really had any like super hardcore must-haves on it. Like some Pokemon games that are on there that are good, great, but like they're also a bit disappointing in other ways. And
well, it was
Metroid.
It was a great RPG machine, but it was just like, it was a thing where like it didn't have an identity like this console doesn't.
Like the DS, like the Wii, like the Switch.
Yeah. So the best game on the 3DS is Link Between Worlds.
Link Between Worlds, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question though. Yeah, I really had to search that one to figure that out. I mean, do you agree?
Yeah, like I think the struggle is that it's just like, we've been here before and we know it doesn't work for them. Like the 3DS eventually did do well. It took them a while, but it did do well in the end. Then the 2DS came out, had a similar identity crisis, but it was sort of its own little weird thing in the same way that the Switch Lite was its own weird thing.
Yeah, totally. Askew.
Do you say like a SKU or askew? Because both works.
The first option.
Okay, because
one skew.
It's very like poetic of you to go like the 2DS was quite askew in the lineage of the 3DS
because it was a wedge.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I think it's just like it doesn't work for them. I don't know why they're doing this again. It's a bizarre mix between the two identities of Nintendo, which is, you know, like your uncle video game Disney and the corporate company that makes people go into indentured servitude. Like it's a insane mix. You get whiplash from it every 5 years. We're at another point of whiplash, and like it's not the right way for them. It's like, you know, what is this fucking camera that has come out? They've since,
oh my god, the camera's such a joke.
They've since learned what the internet is, but like it's like things are not looking in a direction where I'm like, this is a really exciting place for games.
Right, I see. Yeah, I think that's fair enough. You know, maybe they could surprise us. Maybe they can do something with a 120 hertz panel that's exciting. The thing is, though, as soon as I say it, I'm like,
that's
great. Then you're either relying on the handheld, so then it has to be played handheld because not everyone has a 120 hertz display that they can dock into.
Most people do not have that.
No, like the LG TVs have been around for ages now, but they're still expensive.
They're fucking expensive.
Your most entry level TV, which a lot of people get, they don't have that capability, and so you can't really design around it. It's the same thing with HDR, which is such a mess. Like, no matter what console you're using, no matter what TV you're using, whether it's good at it or bad at it, it's always a mess to get that right. And so, like, of course, they're not going to step into that quagmire. Like,
but
yeah,
like also, like,
right.
HDR
You're
is a
right. I don't
different
know
thing,
how they
though.
can turn these features exciting.
Like,
I don't know how they can, make use of them.
Yeah. Yeah, a mess. Before we wrap up, have you got your game that is the next Silksong, Last Guardian, Metroid Prime 4, the forever game that is never coming out? What is the one that we'll latch onto for the next 5 years
It's so hard because the time scale of these projects is so long, we actually don't even know what it is yet. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like you can't see it ahead of time because it's so long-winded. I feel like I have to pick something out of thin air because, like,
well, it could be a game that has or hasn't been like announced. Like, is it going to become
sure, like Judas or something, or BioShock 4?
Yeah, that might be a really good one because that is an insane place. But also, part of the pleasure of these types of experiences is that we know they're being made, whereas like we actually don't know if BioShock 4 is actually being made and it's just been restarted a billion times. Whereas like Kingdom Hearts, they started working on it and they worked on it for like 6 years and they restarted a little bit, but it's not like it went to a different team.
That's true. Kingdom Hearts 4 is getting dangerously close to getting long enough in the tooth where it's like, where is it?
Yeah, which is funny because the other, like a month ago, some new screenshots showed up in a magazine in Japan.
Okay.
Like, like everyone was like, what? These are new.
Excuse me?
Where is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's like Final Fantasy VIII remake.
Or yeah, they've been talking about 9 or 10 remake a bit. I don't think 8's getting remade because after the GeForce leak, 8 remastered came out.
Right.
I think if we're going to see a Final Fantasy remade after 7 Part 3, I think it'll be 10.
Right.
But
I know the one, but I would like if you have your guess first.
I don't have anything too solid, I'm afraid. Maybe it's the next Zelda. Maybe they can't find the next Zelda after Tears of the Kingdom. Maybe they're just stuck.
That would be sad.
It would be, but it wouldn't be the first time.
No. Mine is Bloodborne PS5.
oh, fuck, you think they're going to say something and then we don't see it?
No, but part of
That's
it.
the key. That's the key with these things. It's not like rumored. Now it's finally coming out. Like the thing with Silksong, the thing with Bayonetta 3, the thing with Metroid Prime 4 is they were officially announced and revealed and shown.
Yeah,
it's the stuff you show too early. That's the key. The stuff you show too early.
I think
like Dying Light 2. No. Dead Rising 2. No. What's the other zombie game?
Dead Island.
Dead Island. Thank you.
Not necessarily, because part of the thing about Kingdom Hearts 3 was that it was forever, and then it was announced. Same with like the one. It used to be Half-Life 3, but
yeah, it used to be 7 Remake. It used to be Last Guardian.
Yeah, well, Last Guardian was at least officially announced, but the ones that everyone expected and we never saw.
Yeah.
And we were never officially confirmed. I think that adds to the myth of it. Well, it's not intrinsic to it, but I think that it doesn't exclude it if it has been announced.
The thing with those is they're incomplete franchises. They're series with a lot of momentum that then stall. I'm struggling to think of a franchise right now that's in limbo. You know what I mean? Like I'm struggling to think of one that's like waiting for the next installment that everyone's super keen on. Like some people might say God of War, but like that was left in such a wrapped up place after Ragnarok that they could take as long as they want.
Will it be Last of Us 3?
Yeah,
just
maybe.
Because everyone expects it.
Maybe. A lot of people talk about it. I think honestly that's a good mark, because even if they don't think they're going to make it right now, I bet in 3 years they're probably going to feel like it.
Because Beyond Good and Evil is sort of in its own weird spot. You could put Rayman in there potentially, as when are we gonna get another fucking Rayman game?
Yeah,
and the answer is actually quite soon, but because of the thing the other day. But maybe I guess it's either Last of Us 3 because they're doing the multiplayer thing that they can. Yeah.
Did you hear that the developer, one of the directors of that multiplayer project, has gone onto a new studio to make a similar project to take the learnings of that project and make something that kind of chases after it a bit?
Yeah, right.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want Diet Factions. Give me that. I want that.
Diet Factions. All right. Any final words?
Your mother was a hamster and your father smells of elderberries.
All right. That brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you very much for listening. If you enjoyed that episode, make sure you give us a positive rating. It makes a tremendous amount of impact for the show. If you want to find out the best way to excuse me. If you want to find out the best way to find out when the next episode is going live, you can follow us on social at MiniMapAU everywhere aside from Blue Sky, which is minimap.com.au. You can also head to minimap.com.au for absolutely everything else Minimap related, including the Minidisc podcast. And is this the first time we've recorded a thing since Box of Scraps?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Be. There's also a production history of Marvel show that I put on there.
Jeremy has done an immense amount of work on an incredible retrospective of the MCU, and we've recorded
history.
The first two episodes.
It's not a retrospective, a history.
A history. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not.
I highly recommend it if you have a fondness for the MCU and its original run. I highly recommend you check out this extended look at what happened.
Yeah. I watched Incredible Hulk again the other day.
Cool.
This week. With the commentary.
That mean we're getting ready? We're getting ready to spin the machine back up?
Yeah, I've been trying to get back in the groove.
It's back in the box.
Yeah. Anyway, you can listen to that on minimap.com.au and also just podcast platforms. Just search Box of Scraps. You will find it. You can find me on social media at Obi-Wan-Jez or on Blue Sky, which is jeremy.minimap.com.au. Kerry, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Blue Sky at kjpalmer.bsky.social. That's pretty much the only place I'm active these days. So yeah, you can find me there.
Yeah. Thank you very much for listening. As a reminder as well, Minimap is completely independent and funded almost entirely out of our own pockets to help keep the mics and lights on. You can support us by becoming a patron on Patreon for only $5 a month. You can know that you're indeed supporting the show, and you will also gain access to some of the old special features that we've done, like taking a trip down memory lane of old E3. You can go to Patreon.
We should do another one of those.
Yeah. Well, we were going to do one the other week, but we haven't found the time yet. You can do that.
Full-time jobs suck,
oh
man.
my God, tell me about it. You can head on over to patreon.com/minimapau to help us out. And remember, it's cheaper than a latte with oat milk. Kerry,
Sometimes it's just cheaper than a latte these days.
it's cheaper than most things. Anyway, see you at PAX.
Bye.